This video is going to cover RF 712, get a home inspection and property survey. This form tells the seller of the buyer's intentions regarding conducting a home inspection and or property survey. This form is in the 700 series, which is comprised of miscellaneous documents including the referral agreement, compensation agreements, and information sheets. This is a two-page document. It consists of 67 lines, and this form will only need to be signed by the buyers. Let's take a look at it. Here on line 1, we find the opportunity to put the buyer's names. Again, if there's more than one buyer, there's an opportunity for you to indicate that here. The property address is what you input on line 2, and recall, as with other forms, when you're initially signing a buyer up as a new client, you may not know the property address. In previous videos I said that you wouldn't know, but actually in some cases you might sign up a buyer as a client and write an offer all in the same session. So it could be possible that you would know the property address, but a lot of times you don't. And this is a form that you cannot find on the listing. Say you're about to write an offer, as in with the confirmation of agency and the disclaimer, we could go to that MLS listing and hopefully locate in the media section where that listing agent has already provided the seller signed document for those things. That's not the case with the Get a Home Inspection and Property Survey form. The reason for that is that form is specific to the buyer. Only buyers fill out this form. They're telling the seller what their intentions are. Let's look at the form a little bit more closely. Home inspection. Why a buyer needs a home inspection? They need to evaluate the condition of the property. They need to identify the items that need to be repaired or replaced. And they need to estimate the remaining useful life of the major systems, equipment, structure, and finishes. Number 2, appraisals are different from home inspections, and that's something that's important to note. An appraisal is different from a home inspection. Appraisals are for lenders, home inspections are for buyers. An appraisal is required to estimate the value of the house and to make sure that the house meets the lender's minimum property standards requirements, and to make sure that the house is marketable, so when the lender does lend the money, if something were to happen and the buyer couldn't pay, the lender wants to know that the house is marketable enough to be able to sell again. The lender does not guarantee the condition of your potential new home. If you find out problems with your new home after the closing, the lender can't give or lend you money for the repairs, and the lender cannot buy the home back from you. So that's why it's important for you to get a home inspection. Section 4 addresses radon gas testing. Radon gas is a very not good gas. There are tests that can be done to identify whether or not any remediation needs to be done with regard to radon, and this is an announcement to the buyer that, hey, these are the reasons why you want to actually get a home inspection done. Number 5, be an informed buyer. It is your responsibility to be an informed buyer. Be sure that what you buy is satisfactory in every respect. You have the right to carefully examine your potential new home with a licensed home inspector, and you may arrange to do so before signing your contract, or you may do so after signing the contract, as long as the contract states that the sale of the home depends on the inspection. In other words, if there's a contingency in the contract for the inspection, then you can sign and indicate that you'll do the home inspection after the contract is signed. Property survey. Why does a buyer need a property survey? Well, a survey gives the buyer specific information about the boundary lines of the property prior to the buyer purchasing it. A surveyor can provide the following services, which is going to be to establish boundary lines, properly represent boundary lines, identify potential issues associated with the piece of property in the form of encroachments, setback violations, easements, etc., and to prepare an accurate property description which will become a part of the deed of transfer. Surveys are different from other inspections. A survey is different from a home inspection and an appraisal. A survey is going to deal with the boundary lines, the appraisal is going to deal with the value, the inspection is going to deal with the condition. In order to ensure that you know exactly how much land you are purchasing and the conditions associated with the property boundaries, you should have a survey done. Section 3, be an informed buyer. It's your responsibility to be an informed buyer. Be sure that what you buy is satisfactory. We just talked about that in the previous slide. And then section, starting at line 47 rather, you'll see the buyer acknowledgement indicating what the buyer's intentions are regarding the home inspection. We choose to have a home inspection. We choose not to have a home inspection. Either way, that needs to be selected And then with regard to the survey, we choose to have a survey, we choose to not have a survey. So again, this is a form that's signed only by the buyer. As you notice here, there's not even a section for a seller to sign, but it's signed only by the buyer, and it tells the seller what the buyer's intentions are with regard to getting a home inspection and property survey. Thanks so much for your attention, and see you on the next video.